Are you interested to spice up your hi-hat patterns, to make them more groove, to make them wider maybe, to make them, yeah, just more interesting, just to spice them up, right? If yes, I think this video is perfect for you if you're in the genre of Rominimal, micro house, minimal house, however you want to call it. This video is perfect for you. I give you some tips, tools and whatnot, how you can possibly, yeah, make your hi-hats more groove, more stand out, more interesting, and so on, right? So let's jump in. Hey friends, Salona here from roughitstudio.com. Before we start, I quickly want to mention my soft but snappy Rominimal Ableton Live kick template, which is a free tool that you can use based on Ableton's drum synth. But I already did the heavy lifting for you. As I said, it's a template, right? So you basically just can drag and drop it into your session and then fine tweak it to your needs, to your taste. Because I often found that a kick often doesn't fit into the track perfectly after we add a bass line maybe. We add textures, we add even drums, claps, whatever it is. And on some level I often found if I use samples, that kick doesn't fit perfectly into the track anymore, right? So I need to search for another sample, which is time consuming, which is a pain for me. And that's why I created this little template that you can use and yeah, fine tweak very quickly with just a few buttons, adding layers how you want them, with just a few tweaks, right? If you want that for free, just click the link down here up there or in the description below. Thanks again. Now let's jump over to the hi-hat video. Hope you enjoy it and thanks for your time, really means a lot. And all the comments, by the way, I want to thank everyone who always comments on the video, who likes, who subscribes. Really, this means a lot to me and hopefully we can keep this going. Okay, so the first technique that I want to share with you is about hi-hats is self-oscillating hi-hats. I call it like that because I use an auto filter, and the main thing we are going to do is we crank up the resonance, right? So it we get those kind of bell sounding results like this one, or this one, right? And the more you crank that resonance up, the more you get those self-resonating frequencies, right? Now there are two ways to do this. Number one is using an LFO like I did here, but the key is to really not process the resonance frequency or the resonance, but only the frequency, right? Because if I do this one, I mean, you can do it, but to me it's too crazy. I would rather have some control here. Then play with the frequency. Right? Or the other way is using the clips envelope, right? And not to clip, but self oscillation and then frequency, and then I just draw some random stuff into this clip here. Basically it's also an automation, right? And by the way, little tip here, if you have longer playing hi-hats or inside the loop, you can dial the release a little bit, or make the whole hi-hat loop a little bit shorter if you use the transient envelope here. So you can really shorten shit. This is normal loop, right? But if you want shorter hi-hats, just use the transient envelope here on a clip, and then you can shorten it. Just a little tip here. So yeah, that's technique number 1, self-oscillation on hi-hats with auto filter. And number 2 is, I call it vinyl hi-hats. And I showed you this in last week's video, I guess. This is from Isotope Vinyl. I guess it's freeware. And what I did here, it's a simple noise, right? And then I was using this hi-hat noise, and I was gating it with the dry hi-hat here. So basically I used this dry hi-hat as a sidechain input and made kind of a vinyl hi-hat. Kind of a layer, right? And you can play with that. Attack, release. Could even EQ stuff. You get the idea, right? So it gives a little bit of a vibe, right? Without the vinyl heads, with the vinyl heads. You can even change the vibe here. And we can play with the attack and stuff. Too many sounds going on in this track, but hope you get the idea about this vinyl hat technique. So this is technique number 2. Then this one is my favorite so far. Kind of simple, but what I do is I duplicate the same loop, right? So I have 2 of the same channels, number 1, number 2. Just duplicate, and then I use a simple grain delay from Ableton stock plugin, and I also duplicate them. Now the key here is I use the quarter notes in sync, but on one channel I go in 0.50%, and on the other one I go minus 0.50%, right? And I found this gives kind of a groove to the track. Have a listen. Now if I mute those both grain delays, this is a dry signal, it's a little bit louder of course. And now this is shuffle and swing. Dry. And I found this 0.50 is kind of a sweet spot. We can maybe experiment a little bit, but on some level it loses itself, the groove. I mean, it's a taste thing, you know. That could also work. It's too much, right? Let's see. Maybe too much. Yeah, it's right on the edge, I would say. Mute again. I just found myself, yeah, my head is bouncing, and that's indicated that it's grooving. And then the last one is a little bit more complicated at first glance. Let me explain that quickly. So this is basically, I think it's the same loop. Then I added a chorus and a simple preset, I guess. It's from the echo. Style in first chorus. Very short. And then diffused echo. And then I have this 2-band gated delay. And this is from a free extension from Ableton homepage. I guess it's called Creative Extension or something like that. And it's for free. Right? You can experiment with that. All kind of stuff. And then last but not least, I have this sequencer. It's a gated sequencer, right? So it kind of works like this other gate that I showed you previously on this vinyl hat, right? And you can also play with those gates here. This is all the way wet, but I like to let some signal through. And then what I did is set up a return channel with a reverb, and then after that reverb I used the gate again, and I used that subtle swing heads here to gate that reverb. And I also used the LFO on the release here. Let's first have a listen without the gate. So yeah, that's it. I hope you liked that. To sum it up very quickly, we have number 1, self-oscillating hi-hats, where we use some auto filtering, using the resonance, and then frequency automation. Then we have vinyl hi-hat, where we used some vinyl noise and gated it with the sidechain, using the signal from another hi-hat, right, to give that a little bit of a layer. Then we have a subtle swing hi-hats, where we use grain delay, basically the same channel but duplication of it with different settings here on the sync. One is positive and one is negative, to give a little bit more groove and swing, shuffle and swing, I like to call it that way. And last but not least, we have a very short hi-hat loop that we then smack through the chorus. Then we use a long echo, and after that long echo we use a gated delay to scatter that loop and echo around. And after that we use a gated sequencer, which is freeware, by the way. It's in the list of my 7 freeware plugins from last week's video. And then we have some routing going on here with some reverb, and we gated that reverb with the subtle swing here, and then LFO that gate, right? And that's it basically. Now my question is, which was your favorite technique? And take it further. I would really encourage you to take it further. Those are just some starting points, ready to experiment, hopefully to inspire you, and then maybe you end up with different results, maybe even better results, which is probably easy, right? And hope you have some fun with experimenting. Hope to see you next week. Thanks again for your time. Thanks for watching. Cheers. Bye bye.